where and how to start a meetup and a podcast to grow your network with Adam Adams. So most of us are just joining on. So Adam, I'm gonna just let you get started on. I have a few questions for you. Can you talk about like how exactly can a meetup and a podcast actually help grow our network? Oh, your mic is off. You have to.
I forgot. You have a setting on yours that automatically mutes it, and
Yeah.
I always forget.
It's a,
Yeah. So, how can having a meetup and a podcast grow your network? Easy enough. Having a meetup be, helps you become the authority in your area, your local area. So you're running a meetup, you're organizing a meetup, and people start flocking to you and looking at you as one of the leaders in your area. And they start saying, if I'm going to do business with somebody, I should do business with you. I should do business with the leader. So it's really cool. Other people start talking about you behind your back. That's a good thing. Other people talk about you when you're not in the room because you host the event, and they'll say, oh, you need to go to Clay's meetup. You need to go to Bridget's meetup. You need to go to Dennis's meetup, etc. And so you host the meetup, and now people can talk about you behind your back, which is wonderful. And when they come to the meeting and they see a dozen people or 100 people sitting in the room, they're scanning through and they're thinking to themselves, I want to do business. Who should I do business with? They automatically start to at least know you because you run and organize that meetup. So I think there's a lot to it that can come across pretty obvious. Like, oh, if I run it, I'm the person. I'm the one that they come to. You'll do more deals. I remember when I first started the meetup, I did more wholesaling and flipping than I did multifamily. This was in 2016. And people gave me deals before they gave anyone else in the room deals. So I didn't pay a dime for marketing. I never spent a single cent on direct mail, but I was doing more deals than anyone in my group because everyone in my group was bringing them to me first, and they were spending the money and I didn't have to. So that was a huge benefit. Then when we look at a podcast, what can a podcast do for you? There's a couple of benefits. There's one benefit with a podcast that most people neglect to talk about. And we talked a little bit about this in part 3, where if I'm hosting the podcast and I get some big names on my show, then those big names start to know who I am. They start to recognize me. They start to hope to come on my show. There's a lot of big names that are like, I really want to be on Adam's show because I started it a long time ago. It's been growing, and they feel like they get a benefit by being able to speak in front of my audience, because we have at the lowest amount every single day, we have at least 600 people listening to the show. And per episode, that's usually over 2,000 people per episode, because we'll do just a couple episodes a week and you add all that up. But every single day, we have at least 600 different people listening to the show. It's amazing. That's like hosting a whole conference. That's like hosting an entire big conference of people every day. But I could do it from my underwear if I wanted to. You know what I mean? So here I am. It doesn't matter what I'm wearing. I could even cover up my camera and have the ability to add value to other people without ever putting makeup on, without ever doing my hair. So this is a huge benefit. Now, if I invite those other people onto the show, they appreciate me, and there's this law of reciprocity. There's this law where people naturally reciprocate good things. It is difficult. It is hard, even if you're shy, to have somebody come up to you and say, hi, how you doing? For you not to say, good, how are you? It is so hard to not reciprocate. And when I say to you, you look great, I love your hair today, it is difficult for you to not say, oh, and I love that shirt. You know, it's just too hard. The law of reciprocity is a real thing. So when you bring them on your show, they're more likely to bring you on their show. And so you grow while they grow.
Yeah.
So it's huge. That's just part of it. You get along with higher level people, connect with higher level people. You're more likely to do deals with higher level people. Your network changes. Everybody knows that your network is your net worth, and you are the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most. Show me the 5 people that you spend the most time with each and every day, and I would say that your net worth is close to that. The way you act is close to that. What you wear is close to these 5 people. And if you start hosting your own podcast and start interviewing high level people, you start becoming more like them. You start having the good things of them rub off on you, and you just get to know them. Finally, as you host a podcast, people talk behind your back. Again, this is a good thing. You want them to talk behind your back. You want people to talk about you when you're not in the room. I'm not on this podcast specifically because I want to be talked about behind my back, but I promise that Dennis or Clay or Renika or Ed or Bridget or Tiffany will definitely later on be talking about Adam. Oh, I like Adam, or Adam's been doing it really well, or he can help me start a podcast, or he could help you start a podcast, or he's a good person to passively invest with. I won't be in the room anymore. Dennis says, "Yep, we'll talk about you later." Thanks, Dennis. Almost worries me, but that's okay. So you want to make sure that you're growing your influence, you're growing your brand, and for that, you got to have a platform. And if you have a platform, it's easier for me to know who you are, and easier for me to pull you onto my show, and easier for you to get into my 600 downloads a day or 2,200 per episode. You go on one show of mine, 2,250 people will definitely know who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing, the power that a podcast can bring.
So I would like to know, are there any hacks you can share with us to actually grow our meetup and podcast?
Yeah. Let me give you some hacks on Meetup first, and then give you some
Okay.
hacks on podcast. One thing that most people don't realize is that if you're not on social media, if you're not talking about yourself and you're not telling people what you're doing on social media, then you're not going to get the benefit. Nobody's going to know who you are. You're just going to have 20 downloads per episode, or nobody's going to know who you are. You're going to have 3 people coming to your meetup. If you put it out there, that's when people start recognizing, oh, I need to go to that meetup, it looks cool, I see the pictures, I need to go to the next one. So telling everybody what you do is going to be really important, and a lot of people forget about this. A lot of people, they think, oh, I don't want to be out there, I don't want to tell everybody what I'm doing, I don't well, your meetup's going to suck, your podcast is going to suck if you don't get on social media and tell people what you're doing. So that's number one. Get on social media. Number two for meetups is you want to let your attendees have an opportunity to introduce themselves. It's funny because all of us want to do more business, or else we would never be at that meetup. And the only way for us to do business is to start getting into conversations with other people that we might be connecting with. And if you go to a meetup, and let's just pretend I was really shy, I was really introverted, I still want the same things. I still want to do business. I still want to meet people. I still want to meet the right people. I still want to connect with people. There's nobody that goes to a meetup group, even if they're shy, even if they're introverted. There's nobody that goes to the meetup group that says to themselves, I don't want to do any business. I don't want to meet the right person. Nobody says that. So to facilitate this, to help them feel like they're heard, you give them a chance to introduce themselves at the beginning or at the very end of the meeting. You say, take 30 seconds to talk about who you are and what you do. Or you might say, take 6 seconds to tell us where your name and your business. Or you say, take 1 minute or 2 minutes to go into how you can help other people in this room. Well, the chance for people, even if you're shy, it might feel a little uncomfortable, but you still appreciate it. You appreciate it for two reasons. Number one is because there might be a dozen people in the room, and you might be afraid to go and ask which ones of them are lenders, which ones of them are operators, which ones of them are fix and flippers. You might be scared to come out of your shell and to shake everybody's hand. But if everyone had a chance to introduce themselves, you can sit there with a notepad or with a good memory and say, "Oh, I need to go talk to her. At the end of this, I need to go and see if that guy wants to invest in deals like mine." The second reason why it's beneficial, whether you're extroverted or introverted, to come to a meeting where they let you introduce themselves, this is a huge hack, is because you might have a great story. You might have something big to offer, but you wouldn't have had the chance to go to 50 people or 12 people in a room and tell everybody. But now you get this opportunity for 30 seconds to just share it. Even if you're shy, even if you're introverted, even if you're afraid to get judged, having that opportunity gives you more chances that you're actually going to start doing business. So a hack for meetups to grow is to give your attendees an opportunity to just introduce themselves. It's huge. They all appreciate it, and they'll start doing more business with each other. Another one that I suggest is to not sell at your meetup. Now, there's some coaches and mentors that all they do is sell. Every time they have a meetup, they say, "Join my coaching program," or maybe they're an operator and they're like, "Passively invest, it's the only good thing. Passively invest, it's the only good thing. I'm an operator, talk to me." Well, what's going to end up happening is it's going to feel to the attendee, it's going to feel like this person has an agenda. It's going to feel like the only reason he or she is hosting this event is because he or she wants me to join their coaching program and pay him $20,000. Or the only reason this person is hosting an event is because they want to attract passive investors. And it starts to make the attendee feel nervous or standoffish. But when you have the ability to just come from a place of value and to not sell all the time and not to be pushy all the time, the attendees just feel connected. They're going to do business with you. They're going to find you. They're going to be attracted to you. Not physically attracted, but they're going to be attracted to you as a person, as a business person, as somebody who they can partner with, as somebody that they could passively invest with. That's where you're going to get a lot of value. Other hacks I learned when I flew out to Meetup headquarters. As Rachel said on the part 3, Meetup HQ flew me out in 2018. April of 2018, they paid for my plane ticket. They paid for all of my food, all of my wine, they paid for my hotel. And they fed me every day, and they basically pulled the engineers interviewed me. They had me be one of 6 speakers, so they flew in from a bunch of different countries, 150 people that were their top organizers, and they asked 6 of us to speak. I was so blessed to be one of the speakers. um, so during that time, I shook hands with a lot of people that had larger groups than me. And I was just like blown away. I was standing with all of these engineers in a circle, and there's a point to this. I'm going to share with you the things that these engineers shared with me. I was sitting around or standing around in a circle of 12 engineers on the 6th floor of Meetup HQ. The top floor is where they hide all their engineers. Okay, so I was up there hanging out with them, and I just said, "I've just got to be honest. I've met so many people here that have a bigger group than me. So why am I one of the speakers?" And they gave me 4 things. And I think I can remember at least 3 of them right now.
Mhm.
And these are hacks to grow your meetup, because these are the actual algorithms, that Meetup goes by in order to push you in front of more people. So these are huge things. And I would have never known if I didn't ask the question, why did you have me speak when all these other people have bigger groups than me? And they said, well, number one is your attendees keep coming back and back and back. And they opened up the computer. They showed me that in the whole world, I was number one on having people continue to come back more often than any other meetup in the whole world. And I thought that was like nuts. I was like, why? And I thought to myself, here's why. Here's why. I remember that I have this story to tell at every single meeting. I recalled that I said that the only way to do business with each other is if you keep coming. And we meet every single week, which allows you to start doing business with each other more often. And it takes 6 to 15 times for you to meet somebody before you're willing to do business with them. And at other meetups, it might take 6 months, and you're gonna quit before that. But at our meetup, it's you can do that in a number of 6 weeks. So that's why, and I would tell them, this is why people at this meetup just come every single week. So I remember I told that story every single time. Every single meeting I shared that, and people bought into that, and people continue to come back. Even if the topic didn't matter to them, they came back. Okay, so that was the first thing that they told me. The second thing that they told me was that I had a very high amount of ratings and reviews. So number one in the world for the most amount of 5-star ratings. And by the way, we had 0 ratings that were a 4, 3, 2, or 1. We had over 600 5-star ratings. And I was thinking to myself, why do we have so many ratings compared to anyone else in the world? And I figured it out. Number one, we met more often than anyone else. We met every single week. So because we're always meeting, we always have a chance. And because we brought so many people in, more people were there. And I remember saying, even in the beginning, hey, there's going to be an email that comes to you at the end of today, and it's going to ask you to leave a rating for the group. All I ask is that you leave an honest rating so I know how we can improve. Now, luckily, it was all 5-star ratings, but that was a way that Meetup algorithm saw that we continued to get ratings and reviews. They also saw that the same people who registered for one event kept coming back over and over and over. And the third thing that they shared with me was the consistency, which is where I think most people fail at. Most people don't have consistency. Most people get excited about something, and then after a week or two or a month or two, they're like, this is a lot of work. I'm not getting enough money for it yet. It's not converting yet. And so they quit before they ever have a chance to really grow. They quit before they ever get that opportunity. And I remember before I started my meetup group, I I sat there and I said, I have to be consistent. I'm going to say I'm going to meet every week during lunch on Thursday. And I remember saying, I don't care what the weather's like. I don't care how busy I am. I don't care if nobody ever shows up. I must do this for at least a year. And I remember saying to myself, at very worst, if nobody comes, I'll have my computer with me and I can get some work done in peace. And if one person comes, then I will really connect for 2 hours with one person. We'll add value to each other. We'll get to know each other. So even one person's okay with me. And I remember hoping that it could go to 6 to 12. And I was like, if this could ever get to like 20 or 30 people, that would be amazing. But because of the consistency, because I wasn't selling anything, because I always gave everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves, because I got into the Meetup algorithms on meetup.com, into the algorithms where they were pushing my group out in front of people before they pushed other groups out in front of people, people started coming. And it was amazing. There was many weeks that I would have more than 100 people, 120, 176 people during lunch. And it was because of the consistency. And I never canceled a meeting. Even when it was snowing 10 inches one day, It snowed over 10 inches, and this happened all within 4 hours. And my tires were bald, and it was front wheel drive, not 4-wheel drive. And bald tires, it was not easy for me to get there, but I decided I'm not going to cancel, because as soon as I say that I'm going to be here, but then I actually don't be here, I'm going to lose the trust of whoever did show up. And those are obviously my biggest fans. And you got to add the most amount of value to your biggest fans. So if somebody's willing to drive in 10 inches of snow, that means I have to be there regardless. So the consistency is something that shows up in Meetup algorithm, that if you continue to come and you don't cancel events, they know that they can push your event in front of more people and that they are going to get value. There was a fourth one. I can't think of it right now, but those three I think will really help with Meetup algorithms. For Facebook, I mean for podcasting, the consistency is huge. So podcast algorithms, they will see if you do 2 episodes 1 week and then you skip 2 weeks, and then you do 3 episodes one day and then you skip 3 weeks. The iTunes algorithm will be like, this is a joke. This person's not consistent. They don't care. So they stop pushing it in front of people. So the more you can be consistent on Meetup and on iTunes with your podcast or your YouTube, the more likely that they're going to push you in front of more people. Plus, the ratings and reviews still matter on iTunes. So control that. Invite your friends to give you a rating and a review. Control that by, at the end of your episode, say, if please go to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. And I think it works the best when you ask for an honest rating and review. If you ask for a 5-star rating and review, people will they'll only do it if they think you totally deserve 5 stars. But what's weird about human psychology is if they get in there, even if they didn't really think that you deserve 5 stars, if they start to do it, they're like, you know what? I can't give them a 4-star. That wouldn't be nice. So they still give you the 5-star, but they're less likely to do it if you ask for a 5. They're more likely to do it if you ask for an honest review. So there's just a few tips and tricks. Consistency, bringing on good guests is very helpful. By good guests, I mean there's a few kinds. They can either be famous, or they can be powerful, or they can resonate with the audience. What I mean is, you have a big name like Grant Cardone, it wouldn't matter what he said on there. There would be a lot of people that would be curious enough to want to listen to it, even if he doesn't add value. Yeah. And then there's someone like me. When I say powerful, I don't mean I'm a powerful person. I mean I can have a powerful message. I can have a helpful message, and you need people like that on your show. You need people on your show that can educate the listener, that can drive a point home, that can inspire and uplift. You got to have some people like that. And the third one is you have to have some people that the audience absolutely relates to. So you think about, who's my audience? Where do they live? What are they worried about? How many deals have they done? And you bring people on just like that. So if you have an audience where most of them have never done a deal and somebody barely does their first deal, bring them on, talk about where they came from and what they just accomplished. And the listener's going to be like, that's attainable for me. Mm-hmm. Rather than having Adam, who's already done 1,400 apartments. Now I have somebody who did their first apartment, and they can show me what they're worried about, what they just gone through. And so people listening are more likely to take a lot from that. So if you can have a healthy balance between famous people, powerful people, not powerful like muscly or whatever, but the message resonates, and people that are similar to your audience that they can resonate with, that's the best way to grow a podcast.
Okay. Thank you for sharing those tips, because that's really important. It seems, to grow organically that way. Now, also, when you said, we're not selling anything, but I do know that you were able to raise money with your meetup. Now, how did you do that if you weren't selling anything? And then are you okay with sharing how much you were able to raise?
Yeah. So in the first year and a half of hosting my meetup, I raised 4.2 million. I've raised a couple more million since then through the meetup and a lot more through the podcast. But in the first year and a half, we have it documented 4.2 million. It's a lot. It's a lot of freaking money.
Mm-hmm.
And it came from a lunch club. It came from people that you would never know how much money they had. I would have never expected, looking around at everybody that I had, that I was going to somehow be able to get $4 million out of them. But we did. So that's that. And then you asked if you're not selling, how do you share this? Well, that's a super good question. So let's answer that. If you're not asking for passive investment, how do you get passive investment? Well, two ways. One, you're always coming from a place of value. Always come from a place of value. People are attracted to that. Not physically attracted, but they want to work with you. If you're adding value, if you're genuine, if you're helpful, then they're always going to ask you. It's like a magnet. If in general, everybody's nervous and they're afraid of you. They're afraid of getting pitched again. I think we talked about this in the first episode. When you walk into a store and the clerk, you want to buy a shirt, but the clerk asks you, how can I help you? You immediately like, no, 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 I'm fine. I'm just looking,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to be sold. So we've been taught that we need to put up our guard. And so if you come and be pushy, you're just going to repel against each other like a magnet, two magnets, both on the plus side. You just can't go together. It won't work. So you've got to switch that. You've got to just add value. You've got to pull people towards you. You've got to offer things, not ask for things. And people will start gravitating towards you really in a big way. So that's one part of it. The next part is, do you remember that I mentioned how important it is that you let everyone in your group talk a little bit about what they're about themselves, what they're looking for, about their business, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we know that we're giving everybody else an opportunity, maybe we give them 30 seconds. Everybody gets 30 seconds. But I take a 10-second for me. I say, I'll go first. I always do that. I'll say, I'll go first to show you exactly what I mean. My name's Adam Adams. I buy multifamily apartments, and I buy multifamily apartments with my friends. They're passive investors and they get a return on their money. If you're curious about that, come and reach out to me. I'd be happy to share more. How
Mm-hmm.
long did that take? 10 seconds. I didn't take 30 seconds. I didn't need 30 seconds. But I share just a quick little bit about, this is what I do, and it can interest people. Now, if I'm talking about wholesales that day, I'll change it up. I'll say, my name's Adam Adams, and I buy multifamily apartments. And I know we're learning how to wholesale today. We're learning how to find deals. We're learning how to get them off, and if get them off into another place and make some money on it. I just want to let you know that we partner with people that are really good at finding deals. We give them 5% of the general partnership, and they make a lot more money than they ever would with a single wholesale. If anybody is really good at finding deals and they want to talk to me, you can talk to me after. So that was about 15 to 20 seconds, and I'm giving everybody else 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do. I use myself as the example. I start with myself. I say, I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds. Here's an idea. And I give them a quick pitch, and then I let everybody else go. And it was simple enough, and it doesn't sound like a big pitch. It's not 10 minutes of me saying, you have to invest with me. You have to invest in multifamily. You got to do this. It's just 10 seconds, 20 seconds of me just saying, we do this. If you want to know more, you can come talk to me. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes, thank you. So you know how some meetups they actually may charge for certain events. Say if they want to start charging. I've watched some people who were successful with their meetups, and some did charge for the event. But when would you say it's okay to start charging?
Uh, at the beginning or never. That's the answer. You
Yeah,
start charging
or does it
immediately, or
depend on?
you never, ever, ever charge. There's no reason to have a free meeting, free meeting, free meeting, free meeting, and all of a sudden even ask for $5.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to turn people away. If you were $20 at the beginning and you're always 20, people are always going to be conditioned and happy do that 20 per meeting. But if you have a free meeting, a meetup, because most of us don't feel like we're worth it in the beginning. We
Mm-hmm.
feel like we need to get the people before we start charging, but you're going to really hurt yourself. Have known many people who run meetups that are free for a while, and then they try to charge something 5, 10, or $20 per meeting, or maybe 100 or 200 or 300 per year. When you do that, people think you're a sellout. People run away from you. People are not excited to work with you. They're like, man, this person used to add value and now they're charging.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely interesting to see how people feel about that. But if you want to charge, you just start it in the beginning. Just start it in the very, very beginning, and then have a message why you charge. You
Yeah, I
might
was.
say something like this.
Mm-hmm.
You might say, um, we charge $20 per meeting. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's why we have such great people that come to our meetings. There's a lot of free meetings out there, and if that's your budget, if you just want to go to free, you're going to meet a lot of people out there, but they're not always as serious as they are in our group. And so that's why we charge. I certainly don't charge because I need the money. I charge because I want to make sure that everyone in here cares. They're interested. They plan to do this for a long time. They're not just dabbling. It's not just, oh, I'll just try it out for one time. We charge because we want to have a higher quality.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to share that message with your attendees.
Yeah, I was
Um,
wondering what if it was more like a conference type of a event. So
yeah.
that, you know,
Okay.
that would, you know, coming out of pocket. So it's like, of course, you would have to charge for something like that, which is
Yeah.
still
So
advertising.
that's your funnel. Okay. That's your funnel. And when I coach and mentor people to raise more money, to attract more capital, and I talk about this thing called a funnel. Some
Mm-hmm.
people think a funnel is a website. A website is a very small piece of your funnel. The funnel is how to get people to know you, like you, trust you, and do business with you. So if you're pouring a 5-gallon bucket, trying to get it into a little water bottle, you're going to spill it everywhere if you don't have a funnel. You got to have a funnel. You got to have the most amount of people know you to slowly move into actually doing business with you. And so you're asking, what if some of your types of events are free and some of them are charged, like a conference? I think that's totally fine,
Okay.
because you have your regular meetings, you have your regular online meetings, or you have your regular in-person meetings, and they're either free or $5 or $20 per time. And then you have the conference, you have the summit, you have the workshop or you have the boot camp
Mm-hmm.
that you host also. So at the free meetings, you say, uh, want to let you know that we've got this coming up. I want to let you know that we've got this coming up. Keep sharing it with everybody. You'll actually gain some credibility with the attendees. They'll be like, wow, she charges $500 or $100 for that meeting. I'm so glad that I could come to this for free. I'm going to keep coming because she's the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
She's impressive. She's really doing it, and she has people pay $500 per ticket to go to her workshop or to go to her conference. I'm really lucky to come here for free. They're going to connect with you. They're going to be drawn to you. So that's fine. What I was saying is your
Yeah.
meetups are free, and all of a sudden you change the price.
Okay.
I think you have to have a funnel. You have to get the most amount of people to know who you are through a book that you wrote, through a YouTube channel that you wrote, that you host, or through meetups. And now people know who you are, and you want to start to move them into the next step. The best way to do that is lead magnets, like a free ebook or a free checklist that they can download and put their email on, or free webinars that you host, or have hosting an event that like you're talking about that's paid. Now they're like, I really like this person. I'm going to these for free. Sure, I can pay $100 to go to her conference or to her 2-day or for her full day thing. Um, and if they do that, then they're getting more closely into your world, and they're more likely to pay for your coaching program or pay for passively invest in your deals. Or if you're a real estate agent, they're more likely to use you as their real estate agent on their next deal, because you're putting them through the funnel. So it's very important, and it's smart to charge something.
Okay. Well, thank you. Also, so I wanted to know, when you said you had people, you emailed them so that they
Mhm.
can send you ratings. Now, how were you able to collect the emails through Meetup, or was there another way that you were able to get their email?
No, I think there might have been a misunderstanding. I didn't mean to say that I emailed them. At
Oh,
the end of the event, I said, Meetup is going to send you an email.
oh, okay.
Meetup automatically sends you this,
Oh,
and it asks you how you liked the event. At the end of every meetup, Meetup sends the whole audience, everybody who came, they send them an email that says, did you like this? Give a rating and review. And some people ignore it and just push the X and it also comes on the Meetup app.
yeah.
Like when you log in, it pulls up and it says, how was the meeting? And it gives them a 1 to 5 star, or I didn't even attend, or an X. Most people just push an X. Most people are like, get out of my way. So what I did was I just let my audience, my attendees know, you're going to get this notification. And when it comes in, when the email comes in and or when you see it on the app, just be honest. Let me know, because I want to grow this. I want to grow this for you. So that's how it worked. I wasn't emailing them.
Okay. I actually just, for everyone in the group, I just wanted to make sure that we all stay connected. If you feel inclined and you want to, you can put your information here. I put my email there so we all can stay in touch. But also, I will be sharing this information because I know that Clay asked, can we share my information, as well as will you be able to, share the video? So yes, I am going to put a link in here to my YouTube channel at Rachel Lagan. I'm going to be posting these pre-recorded meetup events there. So that's where you will be able to watch them and rewatch them and then share if you like. Okay. And I don't know if anyone has any other questions, or Adam, is there anything else that you wanted to mention?
It looks like Clay was asking, how do you disseminate the information that you provide freely so that people don't feel like you're holding back? Well, for me, I do a podcast and I dive really deep and granular. There is some things that you have to hold back, like you might have a actual trade secret or intellectual property that would really change somebody's business completely. And when that does actually happen, you just say, I only go through the details of that with my one-on-one coaching clients. So if you want to have a conversation about becoming a one-on-one coaching client, go to raisingmoneycoach.com and you can schedule a time to chat with me. But other than that, I'm giving you a ton of value. It's just that piece is a trade secret. That's a little piece that's going to change everything. And I only go cover that with my one-on-one clients. Or you say, look, there is 10 hours of information when it comes to getting investors on your list.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than 10 hours, and I've got a whole thing on that. But today I'm gonna give you the bullet points, because I'm only gonna be on this podcast for the next 30 to 60 minutes. So let me give you what I can, and if you want the rest, you can go here. So Clay, that's part of it. But that sounds like I'm trying to hold back. I never actually try to hold back, except for one or two trade secrets. Like, how do you get all the ratings and reviews for your podcast? I go over that just with my coaching clients. Like, I will share with everything. I'll give you the scripts. I'll teach you exactly how, and I'll help you do it to make sure that you get the ratings and reviews. Just know that it's really important. But I only really go into those details with my coaching clients, and then I go in through the rest. Or yeah, so disseminate as much as you can, Clay. Give freely as much as you can, Clay, and anyone on the call. There's people are hungry for information. Most people don't take action, which is a sad thing. Most people listen and they never do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But just give freely as much as you can. Some people will go ahead and do it on their own and they'll make lots of money, and you should feel great about that. And other people might invest with you or buy your course or whatever. And that's great, because that means you gave them everything as freely as you could, but they still want to be holding your hand and to go to the next level together, to passively invest in your deal. So Mainly, I want you to take away that I'm saying give freely, disseminate as much information as you possibly can, um, whether it's paid or free. Give, 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 give. On the paid ones, it's usually a little bit more calculated and it's a little bit more done for you and it's a little bit more detail that you can go into, because one of the things was 30 minutes and now they're with you for a whole day and you can dive deep. So don't try to hold back unless you have to. I
Mhm.
hope that helps.
Yeah. Also, oh, it says, he said, I like holding hands. um, I wanted to know, Adam, if you can just share what your podcast is, where they can find you, and then your meetup group, so that if they wanted to, maybe
Yeah.
you can put it in the chat.
Yeah, they can for the show. I sold my last podcast. I had 4 offers, 3 of them over $50,000, and I ended up selling it to one of those offers. And now I have a different podcast. It's called Apartment Investing Show. So you can go to apartmentinvestingshow.com and that'll take you to the YouTube or the podcast. The day that we're recording, I haven't launched the podcast yet. On the day that we're recording for the Apartment Investing Show, it's only on YouTube.
Hmm.
But if you go to apartmentinvestingshow.com, you can see the 2 buttons. One of them will say coming soon, and the other one is already ready. And we've got tons of episodes out there that are very valuable.
Hmm.
So we'll be launching the actual podcast in the next month or so.
Okay.
And if somebody on the call knows that they want to attract more capital, get in front of the right people, they can go to raisingmoneycoach.com. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. It's
Hmm.
just raisingmoneycoach.com, and that's about working with me one on one to get you to the next level.
Thank you so much, Adam, for sharing and just providing so much value today. And in the comments, I hope you guys received all of that. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I put my email in the chat. And also, you guys, I would like to know if you guys would be interested in just having a meetup where we're just talking and just with each other. So I just want to get to know you guys as well. And like Adam said, because I was listening, and I hope you were too, when you start your meetup, this meetup group, the meetup will be emailing you guys. So please, if you feel so inclined, I want you to share, give a rating that you think that this meetup was worth. So I just so thank you for you guys tuning in. And yeah, we see that. Okay. So thank you guys. And don't forget, we're going to be having another meetup next week with Adam. It's going to be part 5 and part 6 of this 6-part multifamily series. And so I don't want you guys to miss out. So if you go to multifamily on meetup.com/multifamily on fire, that's where you'll be able to sign up and RSVP. And like I said, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rachel Lagan, and that's where I'll be posting the recordings there if you would like to watch it again. Okay. And so if you don't have any more questions, I thank you all so much for joining. Adam, you have any last words?
No, that was great to be with you guys. Thank you, everybody who asked questions. I really appreciated that. It was good to be with you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so until next week, you guys, I hope to see you again. Take care.